I'm Deepak Chopra. You're watching New Realities.
Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program is about the evolution of our consciousness. And there's so many amazing people that I meet as I travel around the world who are tapping into other levels of reality, other levels of consciousness. That's why I call this program New Realities, because we are unfolding a higher possibility. And recently I met this amazing woman. I'm very impressed with her gifts, Simona Magnetti, and she's a visionary, she's an artist, she's a healer, and welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Most of all, for me, she knows how to tap in and read. I mean, I'm always looking for people who can, I mean, I'm sure that's not all you do, and we'll get into what you do, but just you tapping in and the little piece of psychic awareness that you gave me was a really, really helped me shift.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Because you have a gift. You have a gift to tuning in. I mean, when I mention a name or ask you to bring healing, what happens for you? How do you tune into that person?
Well, I'm always very visual, and
Yes.
I don't have to see it, meaning that it's already there. So oftentimes when I approach a person, or even if I just start talking to someone on the phone, or if I'm reading an email or a text, I'll just get a lot of visuals of a lot of information. They can be auditory, or they can be through my third eye, telepathic.
You just make yourself available.
Yes, it's always there, really. I can't say that it's not there. So
if I mention a name, I won't mention, but if I mention a name, you immediately...
I immediately will feel the energy of the person, and we'll know a few things about it.
Like my mother. No.
And if it's necessary, they'll start, you know, I'm to the point now that actually they start through me, and I mean by they is the guys, they actually come through and they start working on the person. So I've noticed that over time, I'm almost like on automatic, and I'll start working on someone even without my knowledge.
So if someone hires you for a session, you will, as soon as you meet them, your guides will start working on them to do what? What will you?
We usually go into, the first thing that I see is, like, I scan the person's aura and energy field, and I'll see, you know, they'll bring my attention to specific areas of the person. If that's not necessary, if the person doesn't have anything that is really very strong on them or very evident, then we'll go into, I'll start hearing words of what the person needs to work on. So I'll hear relationship, job, money, and...
Do you have any messages for me?
Yes. One of the things that I keep hearing is to take more time for yourself, and to come, you know, to go into a calmer place and take more time for yourself.
That's a good message. Thank you.
No problem.
You know, when I asked you to read my friend there, you could do that now if you want. You started to burp.
Yes.
Can you talk about what happens? You can read her now.
Yes, I go right there immediately. It's
so if I mention this person I mentioned to you, you have a image of her.
I know.
And what happens to you?
I just start feeling, it's like I feel them coming in. I mean, my guides come in, and my whole, everything, my physical body, my emotional body, my energy body gets all used to read the person.
But why do you start burping? What is that?
The burping, yes, the burping is a clearing, and it's more to get rid of that of which sits on the energy body of the person, that is like sticking, that is the densest energy, and it's easier to then work with the person after I do that. It's almost like getting rid of the first layer, that it's usually a lot of dense fear that is around the person.
But you've been working on this person for a while, that I mentioned, and
it's never ending. Yes. Well, it depends. Also, the other thing is that if sometimes I don't get to finish talking to a person. Like if somebody talks about them, but we're not fixing the issue, then the issues is still there. So therefore, I can tap into the person over and over and over again, and
How do you fix someone's issues?
I need their participation. The
and
person
their
permission, not necessarily, because I made an agreement with my guides to take care of, to only allow those that want to and need my services and need, you know, my help to fix, so that I don't have to ask permission. That's why it's like almost automatic now.
What do you mean you need to have their participation?
I need their participation because it's a process that we do together.
What do you mean their participation? I just can't tell you, so fix that person.
No, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like you can't, you can take a camel to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So they need to. The person on a soul level, I'm very aware when I work with a person whether they shift and move, whether their awareness shifts to that understanding, and so that they actually shift to the healing. If it doesn't happen throughout, usually I can get a person to shift about 4 times throughout the healing session. That means that they've gotten rid of at least 4 very deeply rooted core issues. They're from traumas from early on, and they no longer have to actually work with that. They no longer have to deal with that.
So I could tell my friend to call you.
Yes, absolutely.
If she wants to, but if she doesn't, that means...
That's okay. Not everybody's ready for whatever a healer has to offer, and I usually go very, very deep. We go, into what was created from as early as like infancy to the first year. I ask them. The awareness comes through me, through my guide. The person when I work with, whoever I'm working with may not be necessarily aware or remember the memory, but slowly we can get them there. Wow. It's not necessarily important to remember the memory. It's more important for them to change the belief system that was created. So
but how do you help them change the belief system?
Well, there's a sentence that is created. We will find the exact word, the exact sentence that actually created the block.
I don't deserve this, or something like that.
Yes, so we will go to a point.
Like, give me an example that you found with somebody.
There's someone that I worked recently that the word sacrifice came up, and she had come to me because she couldn't understand why she couldn't come to money as easy as other people, as everything was difficult, and she was in a transition time with her job and a relationship, her marriage, and she was really having a hard time trying to figure out where to go in life and how to do it. And it was interesting that since the time she was about 3 or 4 years old, she had established and agreed to take upon herself as a child, I will sacrifice whatever for the happiness of my parents in order for them to be happy.
And that stayed with her.
And that stayed with her until I believe she was well into her 40s and into her 50s. And it's something that, those are the way my guides show it, it's like as if it gets embedded into your energy field, and then it's establish everything that you experience from there on.
And you don't even realize you're doing it, right?
No, you don't. No, these are not things that we don't remember that because so-and-so said something.
But you tap in, how do you undo that?
Well, once we find the actual keyword, there are keys.
It comes to you.
It comes to me. The
guys, they don't remember what they said.
No, they don't remember, but my guides give it to me. Usually there's a huge recognition from the person. They'll feel, oh my God, yes, I feel, that there's a nice, strong recognition. I need the recognition of the person, because then there needs to be an allowance. They need to allow and give themselves permission to let go of what was created in the past. And then I help them find the better words to use to replace those kind of things. To repair that condition. Usually once they become aware and they connect all the dots, because there's many little pieces throughout life that we gather that points to actually a few key points in our lives that have, constructed our distorted belief system, because it is distorted. But they're there, those key points, to help us actually navigate back to a point in time, because now maybe we have the tools to actually do it. It doesn't happen unless we're ready. We can't force ourselves to learn or understand or heal anything unless we're ready. So that's the beauty about everything. And I think Spirit's always around everybody, trying to help them connect the dots and pay attention.
But people don't, though. No. Why are they so stubborn and dense?
Well, because fear is a huge thing. Fear of
letting go.
Fear of everything. Fear of a lot of things. There's fear. There is a lot of people hold on to things they can't let go. There is, oftentimes wanting how we see ourselves, what we think we are. Describing ourselves. I've always been this way. Not necessarily. You probably have changed to adapt to a situation. But if you hold on to I've always been this way, then the change won't come for you, because that's something that you're holding on to.
So people have to realize they can change, because they haven't always been any way.
No. But we are blind to ourselves, and that's the biggest obstacles, I think,
to our freedom. We don't see our own stuff.
No, we are very blind, and that's what prevents us from seeing our freedom.
So how do we see it?
You find people, or you listen. I think listening to whatever guidance comes, we all get messages, and that's the thing. We all are are really, really in tune. None of us is born without the ability to pick up information. It's just the fact that we're not taught to, you know, use the extra senses the same way as we're using our 5 senses.
So do you teach people how to use their...
I did.
Tell me how, because we all need that. Yes.
So we use the way to teach it. The first thing that I tell people is you have to believe. You have to really have a sense of belief in you that magic does happen. And the next one is you need to start paying attention. You can't go by what so and so does. You need to know who you are. You need to find out your ways. So I usually start telling people to listen to numbers, to watch for numbers, to watch for messages.
What do numbers? What are the messages of numbers?
Oh, numbers are fabulous. On the way here, even for me, I kept saying my 2 numbers that they're telling me that my guys use to tell me that you know, I'm doing the right thing or I'm on the right path is 1, 2, 7s or 2s and 7s, and I must have seen like 10 sets of 7s and 2s and 7s all over. The numbers are another way, a vehicle for your guides to get your attention. And they'll do that with animals when oftentimes you have animals come really close to you and they look like they appear that they're looking at you or they're trying to get inside your house. I've had many of those experiences.
That's a message.
Those are usually a message to pay attention to, you know, they're trying to get your attention. Or sometimes if you're listening, let's say you're thinking of a question and you get in the car and you turn on the radio and it seems like as if the song that is just on the radio is just kind of talking to you. That's a message. I love those too.
So we have to listen to the universe, because the universe is always talking to us.
Yes.
And then you also do these soul angel drawings.
These are paintings. They're it's what I usually see around people, but also around beings. And my guides have given me permission to start painting them and to start sharing this with people, because this is what we look like. We look very much like the beings that we always strive, you know, look up to.
But looking at these, will this help us shift our energy too?
Yes, absolutely. They're very much embedded, you know, with energy. There is a lot of them have they are guided by my guide, so I don't put anything on the canvas that is not supposed to be there. Right. And it is with a beautiful message that, you know, that they carry a beautiful message for people. Like for this one over here, if you want to, that has also the galactic message with all the galactic writing and the angelic writing.
This is your language of light writing.
That is the language of light, and that carries healing on its own as well. So people that are drawn to different things will find themselves, you know, they pick usually exactly the colors they usually are in the auras and also what they need per se in that moment. But that changes. As we change, that also changes. So we don't always need something.
Right.
Yeah.
But you weren't always like this, right? You had a near-death experience.
Yes,
and what happened?
Well, I was in a major car accident.
In New York?
No, I was in Florence when
Florence, Italy.
Yes, I'm Italian. I come from Florence. So I hadn't moved here in the States just yet. And I was going to work and the car hit me. And I don't remember anything. The only thing that I remember, go ahead.
No, you weren't into any of this before that.
No, I wasn't.
You were just a regular person.
Yes, I was a nurse. I was going to my way to work as a nurse. And I knew I was seeing things, but I assumed that everybody did too. So I didn't really make the connection just yet.
So you're going to work and you had
a car accident, and what I remember, I don't remember anything besides my experience. I knew I was on the other side because I found myself in this bed, in this room with many, many lights around me, and there was all these beings that all looked the same around me. Kind of freaked me out a little bit while I was there. But I remember they asked me if I wanted to stay or if I wanted to go back.
To stay on the other side.
If I wanted to stay on the other side. And I said, no, I have so much that I have to do still. I want to go back.
So you could have stayed.
I could have stayed if I wanted to.
But I'm glad you came back.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
So, and that really did change me. It changed my personality a little bit. It made me more aware of the world and other people. But then shortly after, I moved here to this country, and
when did you become a healer? When did you become such a powerful healer?
In my, around my 40s. So it was when I turned 40. It's when everything came together for me, and it was thanks to a girlfriend of mine who saw what I could do. I resisted it for the longest time. But
why did you resist it?
Because I was a nurse, and I believed in medicine, and I believed in in all the things that there was always a cure, but with with surgery or medication or some kind of like that.
But now, as a healer, what is the cure that you're bringing?
The cure is that you need to incorporate everything. You can heal, you can treat the physical body, but you also need to treat the energy body and the mind body. And I think healers bring, especially healers that do the work, they can go inside the soul and read the soul and understand what it is that they need. They can guide the person to be in a better place. And so often, I've seen such a strong connection to, with traumas and emotional handicaps with physical illnesses or physical pain. Right. And oftentimes you can fix one or the other and it may just help. So you can't always do a surgery to get rid of the pain. Sometimes you need to work on your emotional self, and then together you'll probably be completely rid of pain as well.
So talk about the energy bodies then, because if we have trauma, what happens to our energy body?
Our energy body will get loaded. It's almost as if we get a wound in very specific places, and that wound is there. It's almost like an alarm. In the energy body. In the energy body, but it's mirror. The energy body is around our physical body, and it has a mirror into our physical self. So let's say that your left hip is hurting you, okay, and you have issues right there in the left hip. It depends on the person. A general statement I usually rather just do with the person, because there may be something specific to them. But in general, the left hip, at least for me, it represents inability to move forward with making decisions to come to completion. So let's say you have a project that you want to do and you have doubts about it and you can't make decisions to really, put your signature on it and move forward, and especially in relation to money, that will be displayed in the left hip.
But how do you heal that then?
The way to heal is to get the mirror to understand, to help the person understand why that was created.
The block
was created in the energy body.
And why is the block created?
Oftentimes it's created either by, on the left side for me is the male side.
Oh, I thought it was the feminine side.
It is. I know most people see it that way, but for me that's how they show it, and the father will always, for me, it's on the left side. I understand
the father's
the father and the masculine, and yes, and it's all on the left.
Right side, it's the
feminine.
Right.
But I know that most people see it the other way.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, this is I've never learned with anybody. My guides show me everything, so I don't. This is how I see it. But because of that, making firm decisions are related to the masculinity, to being focused, and that's usually associated with the father. So oftentimes people may have felt that they were doubted as children. They couldn't make decisions for themselves, that somebody was making decisions for them. They may have felt that, also they were not encouraged into their achievement, but they were maybe pushed down into that, and that will often be there in that place.
When you talk about your guides, how are they? What are they? Who are they?
A lot. There's a lot of them.
Right now, who are you seeing for your
Right
guide?
now, well, we have, right in front of us, there is a beautiful galactic family. They're more associated with you, and they're
really? Those are my galactic
these
people.
Are your galactic people. There's
galactic
lots of Arcturians, and there's people beings like that I call gods before gods, and they're just really tall beings. And as we go over here, there's more angelic beings over here.
Those are more your people.
These are more our people. And then over here, there's also archangels, and then we can keep going around here. There's actually
all these beings are at different frequencies, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they're all different frequency. To me, whoever comes is dependent on the person that I'm working with. It doesn't. I don't control who comes and who doesn't.
But is there a message from my Arcturian friends to
they love the work that you've been doing.
They do?
Yeah, they love the work that you've been doing,
and
that you will continue doing. So you have a lot of years still ahead of you that you're going to do.
I'm sure.
More.
Yes.
So,
yeah. No, it's a big thing because they're coming into form, aren't they?
Yeah, there is more openness for people to receive, and it's thanks to the new children that we have too. So there's so many.
The new children?
The new children, yes.
The new children are becoming more open to channel.
They're a lot more open to using the other senses, so some of the senses that we are so used to are not as
How do we activate that?
We have to work on it, whereas those children don't have to.
They automatically come in open. They automatically
have it, but maybe, I'm talking about children that have they have a learning disability, that may be labeled autistics, or that maybe, you know, they're just a little bit different than everybody else, is because they're already coming in using different types of area of the brain that we're not so used to using.
These are the autistic children.
Yes,
so,
not just the autistic, but a lot of the children.
But if a child is labeled autistic, they're using a different part of their brain.
Yes.
How can they fit, not that we want them to lose their gifts, but how
Right.
can we help them fit into a
Well,
bigger
we have
picture?
to learn to kind of, for us, especially for a parent, to learn to be more in tune with themselves and trust into whatever really comes into your intuition. And intuition comes in through our telepathic abilities. So even saying that, just my brain's already just, I can feel it just swelling. Learning, most autistic children, you can communicate with them telepathically, where
so
they are nonverbal necessarily.
So autistic children are much more telepathic.
Yes, absolutely.
So they don't know how to access this linear.
No, they don't. But they also are merging. So whereas they can merge, there's people ready to do that, and I apologize if I don't know the term, but you're merging the colors with the sound, where people can see, you know, or you smell something when you're hearing something.
I think that is called, what's the name?
Synesthesia?
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia,
Yes, it is.
I think it is. So when, you know, even those people, kids are coming to the earth now have a lot more of that. And
I was like that. I'm synesthesia.
Me too. Me too.
I feel colors.
Yeah, that's
it's
awesome.
It's a feeling sense. So what does that mean, though?
It means that you're a lot more open. You're not using our five senses. Our world is based on our five senses. And we need to see, we need to touch, we need to, you know, perceive, hear, and everything is based on that. And I only believe only what I see. I only believe only what I hear. And I only believe my voice. I'm not really necessarily really interested in hearing the voice that I'm hearing up here, because that's considered crazy, right? So because of that, we automatically tuning off, or not being as much in tune to all our other senses that we actually have. And to me, and hopefully, you know, when I'll have it, it's coming. There's a book that I'm working on, and you know, we actually have more like 10 senses, but we're only used to.
What are the other senses?
Well, what we call intuition is one. Being able to telepathically to actually trust what you hear in your voice and tuning in into your telepathic abilities is another, and. They haven't given names. I don't even call the third eye anymore the third eye, but I call it the third vision, because it's really another way of seeing. So we need to get used to seeing in a different way. Yeah. And
what does this way of seeing look like? It's like more a fuller picture of energy?
Yeah, oftentimes people think that they have to see, like if there's a lot of instruction on how to see auras, where they actually want you to see colors around objects with your actual eye, with your naked eye. Instead, if you're using your third eye, you'll get an image in your head. So it's a lot easier to actually focus on getting an image on your head of what the energy looks like.
Instead of trying to see your aura, I let the image come to me, and I'll get an inner picture.
Yes.
Oh, that really helps me.
It
I
does.
get that.
Yes.
I can see actually your purple.
That's the third vision. There you go. See, isn't it much easier?
Yes.
And we are more able and more capable and have a lot more functions, and we can actually trigger to have a lot more functions in our brain, cognitive brain, if we actually switch to see things through our telepathy.
So, so that just really was an opening. You will allow the vision to come to you.
Yes.
Instead of trying to see what's out there, it's coming in.
No, because the only thing that it does is I need to prove that I can see, but that means that you're using a very rudimentary mode of vision, which is your eye, and it's connected to the brain, but it's filtered.
Oh, so we need to use our brain differently, right?
Yes, we do.
Is this really what your work is about?
Yes.
It
and
is?
you know, I had to learn it through my own experiences, that I'm dyslexic, and I didn't know that I was until much later on, but it made my life difficult, very difficult growing up in school, and but it allowed for so many other things to be there. I always experience a world in my head that is just amazing, and I just look at anything, and I can switch from looking at whatever, you know, how it's supposed to look energetically, whether or not there is something wrong with whatever, even if it's a tree or a plant. And
I mean, if there's like an imbalance in like a tree or a plant, what will you see?
Usually, I always do that wherever I go. I always just scan the environment, because there's so much pollution and there's so much much damage that we're doing to the earth in all kinds of
you
ways.
Scan the environment and what? See
yeah,
what?
and I'll see almost like what you see, what they showed in the wonderful movie, The Matrix. You know,
Right.
the energy is a little bit of a beady kind of thing that flows, but oftentimes I'll also hear it. So I'll hear the earth actually, or the plants if I walk by and talking to me, and you know. Always,
And if they're having a problem, what will you do?
I work, usually my guides will tell me, so I don't necessarily do anything without, you know, my guides
Right.
telling me. So it's not my volition. I'll ask the guides and they'll show, and usually it just bring in energy, rearrange it. I've oftentimes, I work often into changing the energy of like buildings, of houses to make it better.
Wow.
So that people feel better in their own homes and things like that.
Great.
So the same as I can do for the environment.
So what do you actually do? So let's say a tree is sick or
Yes.
your home needs
So
what do
I
you-
go,
yeah.
I look at where it's going and what is the source, and then whether or not I can change. Usually Archangel Raphael will come in for that, but also Archangel Michael or Archangel Ariel are the main ones that they come in for something like that. And we'll look at the area, we'll see whether or not there is something around the area that it's happening, whether or not it's connected to maybe a building nearby or something else. Sometimes it's connected to a country, to a different country. If there is a vortex, if the vortex is not
So the
in
building could be
jive,
connected to a different
Yes,
country where the
yes,
imbalance because of the
yes.
people who built that building or for whatever
God knows,
purpose.
there could be all kinds of
Right.
things, you
and
know.
so what do you do then?
And then once we identify what the issue is, you know, with the assistance of all the guys, we'll go into the place and we'll shift the frequency. So we'll call in into whatever frequency. And because we are more telepathic, you can just do it. And again, the
We'll call on the
belief.
frequency that will
Yeah.
lift that. And
Yes, and we can change it. And, you know, we'll usually, if it's because of a portal that connects to another place and, you know, somewhere else in the earth, on the world, then we'll close that and open something that is more, you know, in tune to whatever the tree or the area needs.
Well, what I'm getting also from talking
Yes.
to you is that you just totally trust your vision.
Absolutely.
Whatever's coming
Yes,
to you.
always,
It's
always.
like-
I never doubt it.
Can you work on yourself though, or do you have to? I mean, because it's hard for us to work on ourselves because we are in the way.
Well, a lot of the things that I've learned is because I needed to work on myself. So
Oh.
I still have a lot that
You
I have
do?
to. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So you know, we're a work in progress. I don't want to be done working on myself because then I won't have anything else to do.
Yes, you will. There's lots to do after you finish working on yourself.
No, it's actually a learning, a teaching tool itself because I get to learn so much through being
But
open.
what do you want to do? You're a healer. You're a sort of a medium in a sense. You're shamanic in the
Yes.
way that you take energy,
Yeah.
and you're an artist. But where's it all going?
I was told and I was shown, I saw myself with an enormous amount of books. So the fact that I have so many things that they're constantly talking to me of all these things that I need to do and eventually will do.
As a book, write a book of
Write
this.
books, getting the meditations out. I have a group that I used to do meditations every week, and the meditations are very powerful. Get those, you know, out to people to help them, you know, finding a better place. It's endless, and I was also told by someone else that I didn't even know that even the symbols, you know, they carry beautiful energy into you know, for the healing.
Oh yeah, you read it. This is like a symbol you did for me.
Yes.
Is it okay to show people that?
Yes, it is.
And if I put my hand on this, actually, I was feeling some energy.
Yeah.
And then the chakra symbols you have
Yes,
too
I do.
are really powerful.
Yeah. So that's your soul symbol. So
This
that's
is my
something,
soul
that's your soul
symbol.
signature as of this moment, which can change.
change.
Yes. So, and then if I were to draw the whole soul, you know, like history, that could take, we would
You
need
would-
a huge
You would
piece of
draw
paper.
someone soul history
Yeah, all
from
into-
lifetime after lifetime, you
Yeah.
mean? In energy form.
Yes. in
And would
energy
that
form.
help pull pieces of them together?
It may. I mean, for that purpose, it would just be kind of telling the story in symbols, and that, you know, it's almost a way. And I'm sorry if I make reference to movie, but the movie Arrival, I cried with that when I went
Arrival?
to watch the
I
Arrival.
love that movie too. I cried too, actually, yes.
because the symbols that they use for the sin language is exactly what I'm trying to get, you know, for people to understand and get across, and eventually, you know, we'll be able to just really verbalize them. But the symbol have a recognition of, you know, of of just visual recognition, your DNA, your physical body, emotional
Right.
body, energy body will respond to it. Same as with the colors. That's why, you know, Reiki works the same way. This particular one, it's actually a rebirth. This is sometimes how people actually look, and they have all these colors in their energy, into their aura, and we all have wings. We actually have wings.
We actually do have wings?
We do.
What do you mean? What are wings? Energies, though,
They
right?
are energy, they're part of the aura, and it's, you know, so the purpose of the paintings is really to bring the attention to people and themselves and who we are. Oftentimes we see ourselves so low, so just not all that we are, and I want people, you know, for people to see that they are a magnificent being, and if I can just put it into, you know, into a portrait, you know, into paper, I guess, then my hope is to
this
help.
is someone's magnificence shining through.
Yes,
And
yes.
if they can see this, it might help open them up
Yes,
to that.
yes.
So if you had some healing tips for other people, like if you can share that, what would you want to help people heal? What would you share?
The number one thing that I would love for people to, you know, the one thing that I do for myself is I listen. I always listen, not just to what my guides are saying, but to really how I feel myself.
How you feel?
How I feel, yes. I listen to what my body is telling me. Our body communicates to us through, you know, if we're not able to read energy, if we're not able to feel, you know, our guides around or get messages, our physical body actually does tell us, and we feel all these things in our physical body. But also, you know, to listen to the messages around you. Don't always ignore if you see a word popping up all the time. Pay attention to that word,
Definitely,
you know.
pay attention.
Yeah, if you see numbers coming up all the time, pay attention to that. If you keep seeing the same animal coming up all the time, pay attention to that. If you feel, if a thought pops up in your head that you want to do something, do it. That's probably part of your path.
Right.
Don't just ignore it or think that you have to do something. So you know, that would be the first thing, because I do it every day, is to listen. The other one is to always trust and believe that you do have help available to you, that you are taken care of. You got to believe in that, because that gets you already into a much better place.
Right.
We do too many things. We make ourselves do too many things that we don't really want to. And that's one of the first, that's why we have actually experienced fear, because we oftentimes are not listening to what we really want. We're not really listening to ourselves, and we make ourselves do things that we don't always want to.
Why do we do that?
Because we justify, because I have to, I need to, and
Right.
I must, and you know, I want to make sure everybody is happy in my life.
You want to make sure other people are happy before you're happy,
Yes,
but
right.
we have to make ourselves happy
Yes, right.
for that.
So there's a lot of reasons. We can reason just about anything and give justification to just
Right.
about anything, but that's what becomes our jail. That's what becomes our own
Our
chains,
jail,
our
our
jail.
chain.
And we can, you know, we put ourselves behind those
And
bars.
that also starts to get in the way of our light.
Absolutely.
If people come to see you, how can they find you? Find you
But
online.
they can find me online at simonamanenti.com.
That's Simona,
Yeah.
S-I-M-O.
S-I-M-O-N-A and M-A-N-O-E-N-T-I.
And then when people call you, you will tell them, they will say, oh, I want a healing or I want a reading, because you...
Well, they get everything really. So people usually during the session, you'll just about get anything. If you need it, you get the healing. It usually depends on whatever we need to address first. So whatever needs to be addressed first. If it's your energy, if we need to get you at least in a place of receiving. If your energy is too dense because
Right.
your frequency, meaning that the frequency is not right for the receiving, I need to change that first.
And
so
you change people's
and we
frequency.
change that.
How do you do that?
I believe that I can with just my thinking.
No, but your guides help, and,
Yes,
and
they
you're
do.
also burping a lot, and
yes,
that the
yes.
burping releases the
Yes.
density.
It does. I guess, you know, for me it's a process. It's like, because I can't show it, I cannot show the process, but I see it happening as I think it. And I can look and see, like the first time that I met you, I actually felt something over your right shoulder. I'm
And
not
what
good
was
with left
that?
and right. It was,
An
you know, then we
energy.
talked. It was the energy that we talked about.
right, that
Yes.
person, yes.
And that it's no longer there. Just by talking and by focusing on
But
it,
also you burped
it
a lot
shifted.
to
And I
help
burped
shift.
a lot, yes.
So there was like
Yeah.
an energy that was sort of
Yeah.
like I was attached to, and then
Right.
because we.
And it creates an interference, you know, in the frequency of the person. It creates an interference, and that could be anywhere in the body, but that's where it showed. And then, you know, from there, we'll usually go right into the core issues because we'll go into the traumas and the core issues. And then once we're eliminated everything that could interfere with you moving forward, there is no point in me telling you what your future is going to be like if you have a mindset that keeps creating a different future. The moment you walk out of my room,
Right.
you're going to create whatever future you already have in front of you. Because whatever you believe about yourself and whatever you tell yourself, even subconsciously, you have a big sign. It's like having a big sign that you carry around your neck, and you just keep manifesting that. So I need to work on those things first.
You need to work on the core
Yeah.
beliefs, and
Yep.
that will clear the people
Yep.
so they don't keep repeating the same.
Hopefully, people can go home and then they can forget. They usually get a little homework. You know, they get a couple homeworks of things.
This
to
is
do.
on Skype or something, right?
It can be a Skype or over the phone,
Right.
and you know, I used to do it in person, but right now I'm being guided not to always do it in person, but I'll probably go back
Well, it
to it at
doesn't
some
matter
point.
though, because
No,
it's energy
the same.
and it's
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
time and space.
Yes.
So, and then to find you, they go to your website and make an appointment?
They can make an appointment. Will contact me through an email there, or they can it'll be easier to find my phone. I think it's everywhere, my phone number on the web.
And people just call you and make an appointment?
Yeah, they call.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Simona's an amazing reader, really. I think you have a
thank you.
gift that, transcends your own personal ego, personality. It's like big, it's coming from another level. And I think can help a lot of people. So
That is my hope. I would hope for that too.
I think so. Would you see anything coming to the planet, like a vision for the future for us?
What I often see, and what I've given a lot of time to, is to work with the waters, to work with the oceans and the marine life, to work with the planet. It needs our planet really needs a lot of help on that level. Because it's being disregarded. But also oftentimes I pull in people, the whole world, to move it into where we're supposed to go. They often show me many years, we're talking about hundreds of years ahead.
How's it look 100 years ahead?
It looks good. There may just be some turmoil in between,
Right.
but I've gone all the way out to 2230, 2240. They've taken me all the way out there, and we're definitely are different people. So a lot of the things that we're experiencing, what people talk about ascension right now, it's really the precursor to where we're going, where a lot of the things that we're experiencing, and that's why so many people probably work. I don't know about everybody, all the healers, but I'm hoping that we're all working to eliminate or at least diminish the amount of fears that is out there on many levels.
Do you see the interactions with more ET races in the
Yes,
future?
oh, that will
what
be,
do you
yes.
see?
Oh my God, I can't wait for that one.
Well, tell me what you're seeing.
Well, there will be, we'll definitely be leaving, there'll be people coming to us, definitely leaving spaceships, from the Earth to go to other places as well. But it may not be necessarily through spaceships. It will definitely be through other means of
Like time-space
time-space
portal.
teleportation, which there's people right now, people that have passed, like that.
Tesla
like Tesla, Emoto is one too.
Emoto, I knew Emoto.
Yeah, did you?
Yes, I know.
Amazing with
I
him.
did an event with Emoto in
Really?
New York.
Oh,
Yes.
that's fantastic. I never met Emoto, but a week after he passed, he came into my presence and gave me 2 or 3 books of his work. So occasionally I get informations about, I can tap into those sources, but his work is also going to relate to that because, for example, one of the things that I know is that water has a memory. So
yes,
water
and our
has
bodies
memory.
are water.
Exactly.
So when you help change people's energy, you're
Yes.
changing their water.
Yeah. And because it's a conductor, but because it changes water, because water is like, it's all energy at the same time, you can give it a job. And as soon as you give water a job, that's why I'm sure this is something they knew. That's probably why they bless the water. You can be blessed by water because you give it that job, and the water is more than willing to take that job. And
so you give it a purpose in that sense.
But that ties into what the discoveries are going to come probably in another 150 years. There's going to be some discoveries that will tie into even 100 years ago. that will make more sense. And,
Like
you know,
what kind of discoveries? What are you getting? No, just tell me what you're seeing.
Tell me what you're seeing. So the discovery will be into a different source of energy. So not the energy that we're actually seeing or experiencing. None of that will ever be used, especially in another 80
no
years.
oil, no
years.
fossil fuel.
No fossil fuels, but even the electricity, what we call electricity energy, won't be used at that, you know, even 100 years.
Something will be discovered that will be...
Yes, so that will be tapped through frequency. For the understanding of frequency will also be changed, and will put into a different level by use of, you know, through water. So water will become like the most important thing, not because of the loss of it, but because of the qualities that water provides to help us understand other aspects for the future.
Brilliant. I think the Egyptians had this kind of...
Oh, did they?
I think they had something that would use water for frequency.
Well,
no, I love that.
Yeah.
You were sort of like channeling
yes,
there,
I was.
you?
Yes, I was. Yes, yeah.
Great.
They can just come in. You ask a question,
no,
I can give you the info.
I want more of that. We'll do more of that.
Sure.
Thank you, Simona.
You're most welcome.
Is there anything you feel that your guides are wanting just to know right now about?
You know what? We all should really have magic in our life. Believe that we can create magic. Oftentimes, what I do for the many,
sound, right? Do you hear that?
Yes, because this is like I walk around with a magic wand, and I go, okay, I want to change that, and I want to change that, and change that, and just make my life the way that I want to.
We can have magic in our life.
We can have magic in our life
by intending the magic.
By intending the magic. So just to, you know, have a little wand in your pocket, and that's probably why Harry Potter was so popular and just came. You know, that was such a beautiful thing. But do have a wand in your pocket and do create magic in your life. Let go of, you know, all these obligations that we often have in our life, and just believe in the magic. Believe that you can. Stop believing that you can't. Believe that you can. And that is, you know, that's how I live my world. And the more I believe and the more I experience, and so
the more expanded you'll be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you. This was so much fun.
It's fun for me because these pictures are very watery too. These are like energized water, and all her work. You can go to Simona Manenti, SimonaManenti.com. SimonaManenti.com for an appointment, definitely a reading and a healing, and a kind of spirit image, and then your personal icons right here.
Which will probably eventually have a deck of cards as well with whatever it is that spirit was aligned, but those are supposed to be...
But they align our frequencies by holding your own personal... I mean, I feel that energetically.
They do, yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, really.
I'm Alan Steinfeld for New Realities. If you want to reach me, go to my website, newrealities.com. Thanks.